17 of them police officers, and we've just learned in the last 45 minutes that 2 cops were shot on Schenectady Avenue, not badly hurt, taken to Kings County Hospital, and within the last 2 hours, 1 person was killed.
And Tim, the mayor and the police commissioner themselves became under siege when we all were trapped in a school building where community and city leaders were meeting. A mob of about 150 angry people stormed its way up Eastern Parkway towards the school building. Violence exploded as the mob spotted news vans, forcing the media inside the building. 4 officers were hurt. They were hit with rocks and glass. News van windows smashed out. The mob yelling their anger with the mayor. It was a total contrast to the Hasidic community's solemn funeral march this morning. Mourners carried the coffin of 29-year-old Yankel Rosenbaum to the 71st precinct, where they called for more police protection. Rosenbaum, an apparent innocent bystander, was stabbed to death in retaliation. All this rampage began Monday when an Hasidic driver jumped a street curb, killing one 7-year-old black child and seriously injuring another. Last night, riots exploded, blacks against Hasidim. Today, Crown Heights is a neighborhood broken in pieces like the shattered glass covering sidewalks. Immigrants whose businesses were trashed, looted, and destroyed hold back tears and ask why.
I don't know what to blame. I don't know, we're just a victim, I guess, you know.
Many of the owners of the businesses that were spared any damage decided not to open up today. Police blanket every street. It is a neighborhood under siege. A grand jury is investigating the accident that started all this. Meanwhile, the Reverend Al Sharpton and Alton Maddox are demanding the arrest of the Hasidic driver. They say if he's not arrested, they will hunt him down themselves. And it was that demand that the police commissioner and the mayor together were handed when they faced crowds out here in Crown Heights this afternoon together, a place with very unique problems in this city, and it was a very combative visit.
It's angry and ugly, and it's dangerous. A Hasidic man hit by a brick on Eastern Parkway. A cop assigned today to protect the mayor suffers a fractured leg. People who observed the attack taunting him as he's wheeled to an ambulance.
You reap what you sow. What goes around comes around.
2 dramatically different cultures on a collision course. Crown Heights, where a large proportion of the 300,000 residents are blacks of Caribbean descent, sharing sidewalks and apartment buildings with Hasidic Jews, Orthodox people whose origins are in Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union. A relationship soured by resentment and suspicion over the years, now pushed all the way to physical confrontation. 3 nights of it. But who started it? And why has it gotten this far?
I believe this is from the outside. Most people are homeowners. I don't believe it's definitely not from the inside. I've been here 10 years, and basically people coincide together.
This is outside. You know, for a long time, man, you said walk in, you know what I'm saying? But when the jogger got raped in Central Park, you know what I'm saying, it was a different story. This is our time here. This is us.
Because passions are running so high, there is no way the community can yet come together. The mayor today sought to diffuse the tension by talking to young people, and he took some heat.
I myself personally worked hard on your campaign, and right now, I don't know what to say, all right? I'm like, real sorry that I did it.
I have been here, and I'm surprised that not one of you would say, oh, but he's been here. I'm surprised that not one of you. You ought to know it, and it's unfair for you to get on the media and say, the mayor ought to come here.
Surrounded by extremely heavy security, the mayor then confronted and talked to the crowd who earlier had thrown bricks and rocks and bottles at the building where he was talking to the young people.
I too want justice. We all want justice. And we will have justice.
Police Commissioner Lee Brown, who spent much of this day in Crown Heights, just left the 71st precinct from where he monitored a very active day out here. We have some footage just in. Our cameraman, John Frassi, was just over at the Utica Avenue area where much of the turmoil has been in the last few days. And as you can see, the police still chasing down people who are throwing bottles and rocks. It's still a very rough evening over in that part of Crown Heights.
EMS and news vans have to travel throughout the neighborhood with their windows taped. It is not a safe neighborhood. It is very dangerous out here tonight.
Yeah, the media has been targets as well as the police. Of course, the breaking story right now is that we have reports of 2 police officers who have been shot. That happened on Schenectady Avenue. They were apparently hit by pellets. We'll try to update for you a little bit later on. They're probably okay. They were taken to Kings County Hospital, but someone with a gun, perhaps a pellet gun, is on top of a building over at Schenectady Avenue firing at will. Police trying to chase him down. So that is the scene from here. Another combative night of turmoil in Crown Heights. You can hear the sirens, ambulances going by, police cars everywhere. Something of a madhouse out here. Back to you guys.
Tim and Deborah, it doesn't seem to be a very safe neighborhood for anyone tonight. What do you get the sense of in terms of people who are living there? Are they just in their homes? What is going on right now?
Some of the people are very scared. They're very terrified. Others are out looking around, just sort of watching the action, watching and waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, and Deborah, in your story, there was a man actually sobbing, a store owner. So there's been a lot of businesses looted as well, and there's been a tremendous economic impact. And it was a good question because there are a lot of very innocent people involved in this who are being hurt every moment of it.
The mayor certainly seemed angry in his discussion with the groups out there, and he is determined to defuse this situation. What efforts are being made by the mayor and his office to bring calm to this situation?
Well, Tim, in covering him all throughout the day, he and the police commissioner, they're starting their meetings. They started them right this afternoon, as you saw, and they will continue those meetings with both the Jewish leaders and the black community leaders, and they're hoping they can change the perceptions of the things going on in this community.
Yeah, in years of covering New York City, I've never seen so many police in one spot. I've also never seen so many people with community relations jackets on. They've brought in just about everybody to try to have clear, cool-headed voices trying to calm everybody down. So there's a lot of efforts going on. So far, it isn't bearing much fruit. Back to you guys.
Child. We have team coverage tonight, beginning with Lou Young, who is live at the 71st Precinct. Lou?
Yes, Tony, this is a night when the mayor came here and tried with little success to calm the tensions in this part of Brooklyn. We watched tonight as Mayor David Dinkins came to this area and confronted firsthand the ugliness that has been Crown Heights these past 2 nights. Watch. The mayor left PS 167 on Eastern Parkway early this evening to talk with the angry crowd outside. His theme, though, wasn't selling in Crown Heights tonight.
We've got to increase the peace. Increase the peace. Increase the peace.
The dominant theme is no peace because the people on the street say there has been no justice. His Honor did not walk from the school to the home of the black children struck down by the automobile on Monday as he planned. He had to drive in a convoy protected by lines of riot-equipped police instead.
The police are all here to protect the mayor who's gone inside the Cato house. Occasionally, rocks and bottles are coming from the far end of the crowd over to the police lines. You can tell the cops would like to withdraw, but they're obviously going to stay here until the mayor is outside.
The rocks and bottles rain down periodically, even one hitting the mayor's car at one point, damaging the roof, while he pleaded on the steps for calm.
I want to avoid further tragedy and further hurt and further harm.
It ended badly. David Dinkins, the first black mayor of New York City, had to be escorted to his car in this predominantly black neighborhood as elements of the crowd alternately cheered and booed. The divisions run deep, even within the black community of Crown Heights. Later this evening, after meeting with members of the Jewish community, the mayor talked about his ugly encounter on President Street.
Their main cry is that the person driving the station wagon should be arrested. And you combine that with the fact that some have had the misinformation that the children were unattended when the accident occurred. They put those things together, and that together with the history here makes for a very difficult situation.
So you understand the rage they have?
Well, I understand the frustration, but that does not mean that I understand or agree with the misbehavior of some who throw things.
Tonight, the mayor told me that the funeral for the young child killed by the car accident on Monday, Gavin Cato, has been postponed, scheduled for this coming Monday. At City Hall works with the U.S. State Department to secure visas for members of the mother's family who live in Guyana. Harry Pels has been covering this whole situation all day here in Crown Heights. She's standing by with more on what happened today here in Brooklyn.
Well, Lou, as you know, the streets of Crown Heights remain extremely dangerous. Police are urging people to stay out of the area. As you can see right behind me, EMS has set up a command post here at the 71st Police Precinct. They report more than 30 people have been injured, including one police officer who was shot with a pellet gun and slightly injured just about an hour ago. Crown Heights was a community under siege. At just before 4 o'clock this afternoon, close to 500 angry protesters took to the streets, demanding justice for Gavin Cato, the young black child who was killed Monday night. Led by community activists, the Reverend Al Sharpton and Sonny Carson, the protesters chanted. But the chants soon turned to violence. Words were replaced by rocks and bottles. As the protest moved to Eastern Parkway, violence reigned. Dozens were injured, including News 4 cameraman Larry Yampolsky, who was rushed to Kings County Hospital with head lacerations. As many took shelter in a local school, the spree of violence continued down the main roadway. Police cars were overturned, windows smashed. Eastern Parkway was littered with glass.
There was no fear of the police retaliation. They just stood there and they stood their ground. Even when the police charged, the young guys just stood there and heaved objects.
After a bitter standoff between police and demonstrators, there were a number of arrests. And officials say there will likely be many more before calm is returned to these Crown Heights streets that remain at a flashpoint. EMS has just told us that now close to 40 people remain hospitalized as a result of the violence here in Crown Heights. Reporting live from the 71st Police Precinct, I'm Perry Peltz. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Perry, thank you.
Residents in Crown Heights say they believe outsiders are instigating much of the violence. Tonight, Mary Civillo reports on how all the protests began.
Their placard said, "We won't be treated like Palestinians," and Hitler didn't do his job. At the scene of Monday's accident, several dozen protesters blocked President Street, urging people to join in. Some mothers whisked their children off the streets, fearing a scene like last night. Some grumbled about outsiders agitating, but others insist they feel the same about inequities they say are exemplified by the handling of an Hasidic man whose driving ended a little boy's life.
When you see children on the sidewalk, come on, you gotta stop. Why is it he's not locked up?
At City Hall, civil rights lawyer Alton Maddox made a threat with the victim's family at his side.
If he is not behind bars in 72 hours, we are going to organize a patrol to go into Crown Heights or wherever he is and bring him out.
At the same time, inside, the mayor and his police commissioner explained why no arrest. They admit it appears the Hasidic driver who killed the boy had run a red light to keep up with a police-led motorcade. The mayor and the police commissioner took their arguments to the streets of Crown Heights tonight, but even those who aren't protesting say there won't be permanent peace here until there's some permanent change. Mary Civillo, News 4, Brooklyn.
And tonight, many questions remain unanswered, including how the volatile situation will be brought under control.
That is a question Mary Civillo will no doubt put to Mayor Dinkins right now. She is standing by with him at Gracie Mansion. Mary?
That's right, and as you saw probably earlier, Tony, Mayor Dinkins was out there this evening. He was in the thick of things. In fact, I'm sure you saw more than a few bottles flying. You visited the family this evening. When you came out of there, the bottles flying. You visited the family this evening. When you came out of there, the disruption, the violence was everywhere. How did that feel for you?